So you're aiming for a top IIM. You already know the pressure is absolutely insane. But you know the biggest question isn't just how much to study, it's about having the right strategy. So let's forget all the guesswork. We are about to break down the exact data-driven target numbers you need to hit for every single major exam. This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's the one that every single IPMAT aspirant loses sleep over. Well, let's put an end to that. In this explainer, we're going to replace all that stress and uncertainty with crystal clear, data-backed targets for every exam you're about to face. Okay, before we dive into a single number, we have to establish the most important rule of the game. Let's call it the 90% accuracy rule. Here's the deal. Every target we're about to discuss assumes that you are getting at least 9 out of every 10 questions you attempt correct. Seriously. Without that level of accuracy, just attempting a bunch of questions is totally meaningless. This is our non-negotiable foundation. All right, so now that we've got our ground rule, let's jump into playbook number 1, IPMAT Indore. Now this is the big one. This is the exam that doesn't just open the door to IIM Indore, but to a bunch of other top-tier IIMs as well. So first things first, let's quickly look at how this exam is set up. IPMAT Indore is a stream-neutral test, which is great because it means it's open to students from any background. It's broken into 3 parts. You've got 15 short answer quant questions, then 30 multiple choice quant questions, and a big 45-question verbal ability section. And, this is super important, remember that Indore uses sectional cutoffs. You have to clear the bar in each and every part to move on. So, what's your very first target? For that QA short answer section, you are aiming for at least 10 correct attempts out of 15. The huge strategic advantage here is that this section has no negative marking. This gives you the freedom to attempt every single question without any fear, which makes hitting that target of 10 way more achievable. Next up, the QA multiple choice section. Now, the pressure's on a little bit more here because there is negative marking. Your target is 18 correct attempts out of 30. Nailing this, while keeping that 90% accuracy in mind, really proves your core concepts are strong enough to handle the heat. And finally, we get to the largest section of the test, verbal ability. With 45 questions on the table, your target is a solid 37 attempts. Now, I know that might sound high, but crushing this section with good accuracy doesn't just get you past the cutoff. It gives your overall score a massive boost. It really puts you in a fantastic position for that final merit list. But here's something really cool about your IPMAT Indore score. It's way more powerful than you might think. It is not just a ticket to IIM Indore. Top IIMs like Ranchi, Shillong, and even Amritsar use this same score for their admissions. The trick is, they all use it differently, and that opens up some really interesting new strategies for you. And this slide right here lays out that core strategic difference perfectly. IIM Indore, as we said, demands a balanced performance with its sectional cutoffs. You fail one section, you're out. Simple as that. IIM Ranchi, on the other hand, only cares about your total score. This is a huge advantage if you have one subject that's a real strong suit, because it can make up for a weaker section. So here's how that strategy actually breaks down in terms of numbers. For Ranchi, with its overall cutoff, aiming for 55 plus correct attempts out of 90 is a really strong goal. Then you've got Shillong, which brings back those sectional cutoffs, so you need a balanced 50 plus attempts spread across the sections. And for Amritsar, since they don't really disclose their criteria, the smartest move is to play it safe with a higher target of 60 plus. Okay, let's switch gears and move on to our second playbook, IPMAT Rohtak. The key strategy here isn't about one single magic number. It's all about your ability to adapt on exam day based on how hard or easy the paper feels. The setup is pretty straightforward. 120 questions split nice and evenly with 40 each for math, logical reasoning, and English. And just like Ranchi, Rohtak uses a single overall cutoff, which again gives you a ton of flexibility in how you approach the test. And this is where that whole adaptive strategy really comes to life. Just look at the slide. Your target changes pretty dramatically with the paper's difficulty. If you get a moderately difficult paper, a target of 90 plus correct attempts is a solid goal. But if you walk in and the paper feels like a cakewalk, the cutoffs are going to soar, and you'll need to push for 100 plus attempts just to stay in the game. All right, on to our final playbook. This one covers JIPMAT, which is for IIM Bodh Gaya and Jammu, and the new BMSAT for IIM Kozhikode. These exams offer a much more direct path, and one of them has a feature that, well, it changes everything. And there it is, the absolute game changer. For IIM Bodh Gaya, there is no interview. Just let that sink in for a second. Your JIPMAT score is your admission ticket. This completely removes that whole subjective interview stage and makes hitting your target score on this exam absolutely critical. So, looking at the numbers, both of these are 100 question stream neutral exams. For JIPMAT, especially if you're gunning for that direct Bodh Gaya entry, you need a high volume of correct answers. You got to aim for that 80 to 90 range. For the newer BAMIS ADT exam, a target of 80 plus correct attempts should put you very comfortably in the running for an interview call. Look, if all those numbers are swirling around in your head, just remember this one thing: 80%. That's it. Whether you're taking JIPMAT or BAMS ASIC-AT, your goal should be to walk into that exam hall aiming to correctly answer at least 80% of the paper. That is your benchmark for success. Whew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground and a whole lot of numbers. So, to wrap this all up, we've put together a final cheat sheet for you. Your ultimate playbook with every single target we talked about in one convenient place. This one chart sums up our entire strategy. For Indore, it's about a balanced 65 correct attempts to get past those sectional hurdles. For Rohtak, it's all about adapting your target from 90 to over 100, depending on the paper. For JIPMAT, especially for Bodh Gaya, it's a direct push for 80 plus to just lock in your seat. And for schools with an overall cutoff, like Ranchi and Amritsar, it's about hitting that 55 to 60 plus total. It just proves it's not about studying hard, it's about studying smart with a precise target for every exam. So now you have the numbers, you have the entire playbook. The final question isn't what are the targets anymore. It's a much more personal one. Is your preparation plan, your daily schedule, your mock test strategy, is it actually designed to hit these specific numbers? Because that's the question that will truly define your success.